You ever feel like you're in a constant game of emotional tug of war? You see all this potential in someone you really care about, your partner, a friend, maybe even one of your parents, and you just think, gosh, if they would only do this one thing differently, everything would be so much better. We've all been there, right? Playing coach from the sidelines. But it almost always ends in frustration. And let's be totally honest here. I'm not just talking about, nagging them to do the dishes. I'm talking about pouring your heart, your soul, all your energy into trying to reshape something fundamental about them, their habits, their career, how they see the world. It always, always starts from a good place, from a place of love. But where does it lead? Yeah, that's where it leads. The payoff? Frustration. Those circular arguments that feel like a broken record, where you say the same things over and over again. And then there's this deep exhaustion. And not just for you, but for them too. You feel like you're hitting your head against a brick wall, and that wall just gets built higher and higher, right in the middle of the relationship you were trying to improve.
But what if we've been pushing on a door that clearly says pull? What if the answer isn't to push harder, but to just stop pushing altogether? There's a fundamental truth here, a simple principle that once you really get it, it changes everything. Here it is. People don't change for people, they change for themselves. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. All of our effort, all our pleading, our brilliant arguments, it's all based on the idea that we can be the reason they change. But this suggests the spark has to come from somewhere else entirely, from inside them. I mean, look, it's that simple. They don't change for you, they don't change for me, they don't change for their boss or their best friend. The only person on this planet who holds the keys to their transformation is them. And that's not a pessimistic view, it's just how it works. The real engine of change is always internal. Okay, so why? Why does all our well-intentioned pressure just seem to bounce right off? Well, it turns out there are two completely different paths to change, and most of the time, we're trying to shove them down the wrong one. So check this out. Here are the two paths, side by side. On the left, you've got external pressure. This is when someone changes for somebody else. Think of it like a New Year's resolution you make just to get someone off your back. You might stick to it for a little while, but it's temporary because your heart's not in it. But on the right, that's internal motivation. That's when a person decides to change for themselves. That is the only path to real lasting change because it comes from a personal decision. And really, it all comes down to this, doesn't it? If they don't want to change, they're not changing. It's so blunt, but it is the absolute truth. You can't convince someone to want something. You can't logic them into it. That desire, that want, it has to be theirs and theirs alone. So what does this internal journey actually look like? Well, first, it starts with the decision. Not you telling them you should do this, but them saying, I am doing this. They have to find their own reason, their own why. It can't be your reason. It has to be personal and powerful enough to carry them through the hard parts. And finally, they have to be the ones to take the action. We can be cheerleaders on the sideline, for sure, but we can't get on the field and play the game for them. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little disempowering, right? Like there's nothing we can do. But actually, it's the exact opposite. It's incredibly liberating. It means you can finally drop the rope in that tug of war. You can stop fighting a battle you were never going to win and redirect all that energy back to the one person you can control, yourself. And this is the core truth we have to accept. You cannot force someone to want to change. It's impossible. You can be an inspiration, absolutely. You can be the most supportive person in their life, but you cannot climb inside their mind and flip a switch for them. Trying to is just a recipe for burnout. So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, first, you really, truly acknowledge that change is their choice. That alone lets you step out of that endless cycle of pressure and arguments. And instead of focusing on them, you get to focus on your own actions, your own peace of mind. Your new role isn't to be the director of their life. It's to be a supportive friend who's there for them on their journey, but you're not leading it. So we end with this. When you finally let go of that rope, you're not just giving them their freedom back, you're giving yourself the incredible gift of peace. So take a second and really think about it. Who will you stop trying to change starting today?